Talon's Reach is full of pros, but do not leave until you hear all of the cons. Hey everybody, it's Allison Wall with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. Talon's Reach is a fantastic neighborhood in South Aurora that is new enough to have awesome floor plans that don't need a ton of updating. The interior aesthetics might need some updating, but the floor plans generally don't. But it's mature enough to have all of this fantastic foliage, mature trees, the amenities are new. It's got a really great feel and vibe to it. The median age of homes in Talon Reach is about 2006, so we really are on the newer spectrum of things in here. Size-wise, there is a massive range. On the small end, homes start at 2,000 square feet, and on the big end, we're at 7,000 to 8,000 square feet. Over the last year, the average home size was 4,400 square feet, and the average and median price over the last year was the same, $790,000. Now, if you get a glimpse of the home sizes that are around me with these big walkout basements on open space, you're wondering, could that be mine for $750,000? Probably not. The home prices range from $500,000 to $1.5 million in here. We have all sorts of builders, all the way to full custom builds in here. One of the perks compared to places like Highlands Ranch or Castle Rock, where we've got a lot of newer builds on dense lots, the lot sizes in here are pretty generous. The median size is 0.19 acres. That is several thousand square feet larger than you'll find in most suburbs. Another added plus, it is dominantly 3-car garages over here instead of 2, so plenty of space for an extra car or more than likely toys, snow blowers, kayaks, bikes, all sorts of other fun things. There is so much to love about Talon's Reach. First up, it is in a stand of pines that are part of the Black Forest. Now, the majority of the Black Forest is all the way down toward Monument, east of I-25, and it kind of tapers off when you get to Franktown, and then it gets its last breath right up here in Talon's Reach. Now, the developers did have to get rid of some of those pines to build this area, but they didn't just scrape all of it away. So when you're driving around, you'll see pockets and areas where you have these nice, mature pines, and it's really lovely. Development of this part of Aurora, the South Aurora area, all started around the same time, the early 2000s. So Talon's Reach was not kind of a standalone area. It came along at around the same time that the Southland Mall did. We'll touch on amenities and infrastructure again in just a minute. Now, some of the builders in here include Thrive, Toll Brothers, Beazer, who's no longer around, Richmond, Meritage, Century, Brookfield Homes, Cardell, and then Lennar is just getting ready to start this little tiny pocket of 24 homes. And then, as I mentioned, there actually are custom built homes in this area as well. Over at the Reserve at Talon's Reach, you've got a selection of custom homes, and then over at Tall Pines, you have another selection. Now, the Reserve at Talon's Reach, some of those back up to the power lines, and then over at Tall Pines, they're kind of on the corner of one of the larger intersections. So while you get custom homes and you have all the large lots and nice custom selections that go with it, there is, for some of those, a few downsides, right? You've got power lines in one area and you've got some road noise in the other. There's a home style for just about everyone. There are paired single-story homes over on the southwest section of the neighborhood. Those are the ones that fall more into that $500,000 price range. So I just took about a 2-minute walk from where I was, ended up over here at the amenities. The pool is right here. There is an adorable little playground right over my shoulder, and then the tennis courts are right there. If we were to keep walking that way just 30 seconds, you're going to end up at this huge, beautiful, large 10-acre park, big grassy knoll, and it's where the community hosts most of its events. The Food Truck Fridays, concert nights, wines in the park, 4th of July celebrations, Oktoberfest, the Fall Festival, all sorts of activities. This is a very active community. I have clients in here, and I've asked them, hey, do they just put these things up and does the community not participate, or is the community really engaged and is it a way to make friends and meet people? And they said it is a very engaged community. They've definitely gone out and enjoyed them with their kids and feel like it is really a way to get a chance to meet some people and make some friends outside of maybe your little block or street. For all of these amenities and activities, for the most part, depending on which section of the neighborhood you're in, you're generally only paying about $1,100 a year in HOA dues. And I will say for most parts of the metro area, that's pretty good, particularly when you have a clubhouse and a pool. So in addition to just this pool here, you have a clubhouse that you can rent out and host parties for your friends. You can have a quinceañera, you can have a baby shower, you can host a Halloween event, whatever it is that you want, it is open to you. On top of HOA dues, let's talk property taxes. So actually property taxes over here are what I would consider pretty modest. Now we're going to dig into the details if you're looking at a home over here, but if you're wanting to estimate, you can take a look at the sales price and assume that the property taxes are going to be roughly 0.5%. That's how they've been running. Now also, we talked about this in another recent video. If you're house hunting in an odd year in Colorado, that means home values have been reassessed and taxes are going to change. We reassess every 2 years on the odd year. So that means that you may be seeing some outdated numbers because they may not be updated in the online portals. They may not be updated where you're looking. So always reach out if you're curious, because this last reassessment, the change was huge. So you might be looking at a house and it says taxes are $3,500, but they're maybe now almost $7,000. So that does happen. You always want to take a peek if the taxes and how they're affecting your budget is, really a big deal to you. So many parts of Aurora can feel off the beaten path. Aurora is huge. We've talked about this in many other videos. It runs from down close to where we are, which is moments from Parker. I mean, where Talon's Reach is, you can get into Parker in 12 minutes, whether you take the back roads or you're taking the interstate. But it runs all the way up toward the international airport, which means you can be 10 minutes from the airport in parts of Aurora, but that distance from here to there can be 40+ minutes. So you can feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, particularly if it's the east side of Aurora, like the way east side of Aurora. But here in Talon's Reach, you're just not far from amenities at all at any time. So first, as I shared, the Southlands Mall was developed right at the same time that Talon's Reach was being created. Southlands Mall has a movie theater, outdoor shops, restaurants. It's really kind of the gathering space for the community. The farmers market is there during the season, which around here generally runs from Mother's Day to October. So there's plenty to do, enjoy. It's not your grocery store stop, but it is your stop for kind of everything else, retail and social. You have a Target, you have grocery stores, you've got a Sprouts not too far away. In Parker, you get to Trader Joe's, and Whole Foods is coming. Even Good Healthcare is nearby. For our family, our in-network oral surgeon was over here, and he was fantastic. There are loads of franchise restaurants for easy weeknight dinners. Now, if you're wanting something that's not a franchise or chain restaurant for a date night, it's a little harder to find right over here. But again, you've got Parker about 12 minutes away, and there are definitely local restaurants. You have other parts of Aurora that have lots of options. You can get into downtown around 35 minutes if you're outside of traffic. So it's not like desert of options. You have stuff that's definitely nearby, and there are some local options, but it's mostly franchises here for your food. Okay, let's talk schools. Anytime we're talking about suburbs, homes, neighborhoods, schools come up. Gosh, guys, I wish I could turn you around and let you see the mountains in front of me. I will before it's over. The views are fantastic. I kind of don't want to look at you. I'd rather look at those, but that lack of eye contact would not be pleasing, right? Okay, so let's talk schools. This falls into the Cherry Hills School District. In the neighborhood, there are 2 elementary schools inside Talon's Reach. At the time of recording, they are both rated a 6 out of 10 on greatschools.org. The middle school and high school are nearby as well. The high school is currently rated an 8 out of 10 on greatschools.org. Ratings do change, so of course you want to check into that. Now, another reason that Talon's Reach is popular in the school perspective is that it's so close in proximity to Regis Jesuit High School, which is a private Catholic school. There are a lot of families that come and look for private schools all across the Denver area and then want to cut down their commute, because anytime you're not going to your neighborhood school, even if you're going to a charter school, you have cut off your option for busing. So Regis Jesuit is a local Catholic private school. They kind of have a boys campus and girls campus. The kids don't mix. And then there are some feeder schools to those that are local Catholic schools for the younger grades that aren't in high school. There's Ave Maria and Loretto. And commutes to both of those are also not too long from here. Loretto is right near Jesuit. Ave Maria's 13, 14 minutes away. Now, as I shared, we have those 2 schools in the neighborhood. That means if you're wanting something quiet in here, there are plenty of options for that. But just as we talked about those custom homes that were near the road, and I'm walking along this larger road and you can hear some of the traffic going by, if you're wanting something quiet, you don't want to be near the road, and you also don't want to be near those school spots. So there are some cons to being in Talon's Reach. Let's talk more about those. The schools are great for convenience. They're great for building community. They're great for connecting, as are the events, and all of these fantastic things about this community. The mountain views, which I still need to turn around and show you, but with the community being spread out the way it is, with these roads that slice it across and cut it into 4, and then having some larger roads that cut through the community, there is some road noise to contend with. So you really do need to pick and choose where you're going to be if you want quiet. So this road right here is a pretty substantial road that cuts through the community. So if you have a house that is on it, you're going to get some road noise. And then there is Aurora Parkway, there's Arapahoe, and those are substantial roads. If you're near those, the houses don't generally back right up to it, but you only have so much in the way of trees or sound walls that are blocking the overflow of that, and it's going to hinder the resale. I have shown loads of homes in here that people still want to go see because they're like, well, it's so far from the road. I want to know what the road noise is like. Then they open that back slider and go, we're done. We can leave, because it's just really hard to get over the fact that you can't go out and enjoy your back deck and enjoy coffee. And then there is a set of homes that back up all the way to 470 on the far edge of the community. And again, it's great because you're probably going to pay less for the house, but you're going to weed out a section of buyers who aren't going to be willing to look at a home that backs to a road. And that always hampers you in terms of equity growth. So if you're okay buying a home for less, but knowing that your home's going to appreciate less over time, then maybe it's an option for you. But I always encourage my folks, don't buy a home that backs to a road. Second, Talon's Reach has a big run of power lines that goes through the middle of the community. Now, it's only one run, so the people who are really affected by it are the ones that live closest to it. There are plenty of opportunities to be away from the power line run. Now, I will also tell you that I have clients who bought a home underneath the power line run. They did this during the pandemic when it was hardest to get a house, when they were competing offers, and they actually were in a competing offer situation on this house. I do not always see that home prices are impacted by being up against the power line run. We've got custom homes that are selling in the $1 million range near this power line run. The hair is going to do what it's going to do today. But if you can avoid it, you will, when you go to sell, expand your opportunity. There are people who will not buy near power lines. Also, for my clients who did buy near the power lines, we did see that there was decreased competition. So they were in a multiple offer situation, but there were only 2 offers on that house, where when we were looking at other offers and other houses around the area, they were 7 or 8 buyers competing for a house. So we do know that there is a difference when you are versus when you are not next to the power lines. So I do see the power lines as a negative, right? It's ideal if you're not underneath them. Power lines and road noise are not unique to Talon's Reach, right? I bring this up in so many neighborhoods that I tour, because all I want for my people, my clients, is for you to get the most you can out of your home tomorrow when you resell, while getting the best deal and the best house for you today. But there is something unique about Talon's Reach that is not seen in most suburbs in South Denver, particularly if you're in Douglas County. In 2022, residents here in Talon's Reach, in one particular quadrant, received notice of potential mineral rights leasing and drilling underneath their homes. I suspect there are homeowners in the community who aren't even aware of this, because there are lots of people who don't read their emails from the HOA, who get letters from the HOA and kind of scan it, toss it, don't even want to read it. If they're up on their dues, they don't care. And so there are people who may not be aware of this. There are certainly going to be home buyers who come into the community who are totally clueless. However, I know from talking to people who are moving into the area, there are people who feel very, very strongly about fracking, about drilling, about anything going on close to their neighborhoods, communities, and houses. So while it may not matter a lick to some people, it matters a lot to others. So this is a potential con for the area just because of how people feel about it, the politics, what some people perceive as potential risks, and the fact that there may not be any control you have over it. You may be in the neighborhood where they're considering drilling and leasing rights. However, you may say no to the company that's doing this, but your neighbor may say yes. Hey guys, here are those mountain views. I wish you were here to enjoy them with me on this beautiful fall day. But you could live here and enjoy them every day for yourself. If you want to chat more about neighborhoods like Talons Reach, South Aurora,